Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board Flight to Youth 22. We are currently first in line for takeoff and are expected to be on air in approximately 20 seconds time. We ask that you please fasten your seatbelts at this time and turn off any distractions as your full attention is highly appreciated. Before we begin, let us first correct our niyat lillahi ta'ala and open both our hearts and minds. Thank you for choosing Legends Airline of Kasan. We hope you enjoy your flight.
What will you want to tell yourself a few years from now? Are you wondering how you can actually begin to make changes and suddenly it all becomes a bit overwhelming? This podcast, Adapting the Youth Towards Transitioning into Adulthood. Maybe this is your chance. Before we go through, we must understand the concept of transitioning into adulthood. It is when the youth will slowly drift away from their teen life as they start to come of age, when responsibilities and new experiences are now in the palm of their hands. This phase of life, and what we call it adolescence, it is actually a unique stage of human development and an important time for laying the foundations of good health, which we're going to experience a rapid physical, cognitive, and social growth. With that said, most youth are not prepared for such drastic changes in their life as there are so many challenges they may face. So, there are common challenges faced during this transition, like education and career, in social life, in personal growth, and especially in mental health. So, maybe our speaker for this episode, Nazhifah, would like to explain more about this occurrence of changes in our life.
Thank you, Aisah. So, Assalamualaikum, and my name is Nazhifah, and I'll be your host speaker for today. So, I'd like to elaborate more on the common challenges faced during this transition into adulthood, as mentioned by Aisah earlier. So, let's start off with our first topic, which is education and career. So, let's ask ourselves a few questions before we dive into this topic. So, was there any experience that prepared you for your next step in your studies? Was there anyone or anything that helped guide you? And how did your pre-university or college experience prepare you for your professional world? Before we begin a chapter in our lives, these are the questions we should ask ourselves. As we become older, we have more opportunities to experience new, sometimes unfamiliar or even uncomfortable things. One of my toughest obstacles was going to university, as the different educational system was a major culture shock. It was nothing like what I had imagined it would be like before college. The idea of semesters, breaks, and modules, they all felt so foreign to me at first because I had no one to help me. I found it difficult to comprehend the differences in the teaching methods between this school and my previous ones, as well as how the school system functioned. Initially, university was overwhelming due to its fast pace, but as I adapted and learned at my own pace, things began to ease up. I had to change my studying style, adapt to lecture styles, and shift classes. I struggled with assignments and reports, and my grades were not as good as pre-university, which made me demotivated. I was also overwhelmed by the success of others in similar positions who were already working, studying overseas, or even having internships. This made me question my choices in university and my major, but I eventually realized that everyone had their own pace and passion. So, one piece of advice I would give to people who are struggling with the same problems is to move at your own pace. At the age of 16 to 18, everyone takes different pathways and has their own success according to their own pace and hard work. I believe that we should take our time and accept our mistakes as lessons. Learn things slowly according to your own comfort and prepare things that you believe are relevant for adulthood. On the topic of preparing things, I would also like to advise you to prepare yourself to step out of your comfort zone and try new things. Do not be scared to challenge yourself when it comes to your passion. Go beyond your limits, try that scholarship, try applying to those institutes, make an effort to better your CV. You can also improve your studying techniques, maybe even start a study group perhaps, getting more knowledge by reading more books, doing more research regarding your future career, watching those YouTube videos that can guide you, or even listening to this podcast, which may even help you just a little bit. So adulthood can also affect our social life regardless of the education and career. So has it affected you in any way currently? Which moves on to my second point, social life. So did you lose or gain any friends? Did you become more introverted or extroverted? Or how was your experience in making friends and connections? For me, my own experience in leaving high school, it caused me to lose some friends as I was changing schools and everyone was going about their own career paths. Some were going to uni, some were going overseas, some were working. I ended up losing contact with most of my friends as we were all busy going about our own lives in our new chapters. I slowly became an introvert in the process and had only a few close friends. And this took a toll on my social skills. It made me become more reserved and I rarely made new friends. And this caused me to be overly comfortable with my small circle. And I always thought that having a small circle was fine, and until I realized that as we get older, we should be meeting more new people and bonding with them as well. That means that our social skills are quite crucial, not just in establishing friendships, but also connections with other people. Not only does being social help with friendships, but it also helps with other things such as relationships, events, public speaking, and professional events. So being a good communicator, being friendly, outgoing, and adventurous does help a lot when transitioning into adulthood, as you are more likely to experience situations that kind of pressures you to be more social, such as interviews, workshops, clubs, meetings, and group projects, and so much more. So I do recommend the youth out there to practice social and communication skills, as those are very useful for various events. And I would also like to advise you to be active, join volunteering events, join various clubs, do some sports, or even join leadership camps. These help shape you into a better person when transitioning to adulthood. And I have also asked others' experience regarding how their social life was, and they mentioned many things. Some mentioned that their social life improved as they were working with people of a variation of age and backgrounds, and this caused them to understand the experience that different people go through, and that can also be a lesson for us. And they also mentioned the quality of friendships in adulthood. Friendships were purer and more impactful when we were younger. But as we transition into adults, when making friends, we do not really expect them to stick around for long, as everyone is going about their lives and most just stay in their small circle of friends, and the new friends they make are not as close. This allowed them to understand the level of friendships as we grew up, that not everyone we talk to would make a significant impact on us. Moreover, all these social skills also come from our own personal growth. Speaking of personal growth, that moves me to my third topic, personal growth. So let's ask ourselves some questions such as, what moment helped your personal growth during or when transitioning into adulthood? Or what have you done or experienced that could prepare you? Are there any more improvements that could be done? And what are your goals? So for my own personal experience, I became more open-minded and adventurous. I tried exploring new things and trying them as well. I expanded my interests and hobbies while learning other people's interests. And I recently started cafe hopping and became a caffeine addict. So even though my younger self would never have thought I would have come close to a cup of coffee, but as I expanded my interests, it just happened so. And I also started new hobbies such as crocheting, diamond painting, and drawing. So trying these new things does allow me to be more open and understand myself better. In adulthood, even the little things you do can help prepare you or make an impact. Allow yourself to step out of your comfort zone, as it does help us in various ways. It could allow us to be more initiative. You could be leading a group for a project since you are more knowledgeable in this topic, or it helps you brainstorm various ideas. Other than that, perhaps you can also have a sense of independence. Taking on tasks and responsibilities, as well as self-teaching, help improve ourselves for the better. I do believe that independence also helps us understand ourselves more. You would be able to explore your limits, strengths and weaknesses, your little habits, and so much more. Or maybe perhaps you may work on your own discipline. Consistent motivations and drives allow you to bring out the best version of yourself and create an amazing character. Also, you can be honing relevant skills for adulthood. Some of the important ones I would say are social, communication, leadership, empathy, problem solving, and critical thinking skills. These skills very much prepare us for the tough world that's waiting for us out there. It can be applied to various situations and definitely will be useful. Everything that you achieve for your own personal growth, from the little things to the big ones, each of them should be celebrated and appreciated. However, are you taking care of yourself currently? Is your mental health in check? Which brings me to my last point, mental health. Are you experiencing any mental health challenges during your transitioning into adulthood? And how are you coping? How can you cope? And why is it so important to maintain your mental health? It is one of the most crucial topics in society, and I saved it as the best for last. Transitioning into adulthood does have its challenges and can damage your mental health. It could be small things that drag along into bigger problems, such as invalidating our own feelings to push through school or work life. No matter how busy the world is moving, we should always prioritize our mental well-being. Again, the little things do matter. Are you eating well? Staying hydrated? Getting enough sleep? Had a self-care day yet? So health is one of the things that is blessed upon us that we take for granted. Having a stable mental well-being is a privilege. One of the things that damages our mental health is when we are constantly being pressured. It could be from your peers when they're getting good grades and achieving success, or even from our parents who pressure us to become independent or reach their standards. Even small negative thoughts can slowly accumulate and break us, and we can no longer bear it all. Bottling up has become a habit for most people in adulthood. So I do understand that things may not be going as planned, or you have just been feeling under the weather. But I do wish everyone who is listening to this podcast happiness and peace. Everyone deserves good times and good health always. We can always improve and maintain our well-being through various ways, such as self-rewards for starters. Reward yourself for the things you do. You had a long day, a rough day, get some good food, get your favorite drink, or maybe even talk it out to your loved ones. Open up your feelings, your frustrations, and experiences to the people you trust. It does slowly ease the uncomfy feeling inside you. Or perhaps even finding a support system that helps you strive through the hardships. It can be a person or even a pet. I personally have my cat as my support system, and he does help me keep me on my feet. So do take care of your mental well-being. Prioritize yourself and your feelings. Validate everything you are feeling and what you are going through. Because at the end of the day, only you know what is best for you, and only you can shape the best version of yourself. So that concludes my part of the podcast for today, and I really appreciate everyone who is listening to my podcast. So I hope that everyone who is listening to this podcast learned a bit from me, or maybe even feel relieved that someone is experiencing the same thing as you, or just know that if you don't have anyone around you, you feel like you're always alone, just know that there's always someone out there who has your back. Your loved ones are always out there longing for you, always waiting for you to come up to them, talking things out, always. Or if you really think you have no one else to come to, I am always open to listen to anyone's problems and help you out. So I will pass the floor again back to Aisah.
To end this podcast, I'd like us to reflect on ourselves. What advice would you give your younger self for the things you're going through currently? What do you wish you had known before making decisions? Think about the decisions and experiences that you went through and see if there were any improvements that could be done. How do these situations help you in the near future? Do you think that you are prepared enough in becoming an adult? What else would you like to seek advice about? How old are you might be? Just try to do this every day. Ask yourself, What do you want to tell yourself today? You can take some time to reflect and backtrack everything that you went through and apply the relevant skills and experiences for your future. Last but not least, try to surround yourself with people that enrich you, people that benefit you. Actively seek out things that improve you. You will find more things you didn't know you cared about, and it will lead you to a richer, deeper sense of fulfillment. Inshallah. Indeed, may not be an easy task, but always make a dua that may Allah grant us the easiest journey throughout our lives and in everything we do. All the best and good luck. Thank you for listening. With me, Aisah, and our speaker, Nazhifah. See you next time. Assalamualaikum.